All right, let's dive into one of the most visible traditions out there, the Friday sacrifice, and specifically, why we fast from meat. So, you've ever really stopped to think about it? You see the signs for fish fries everywhere, you know it's a thing. But what's the real story behind swapping a burger for a fish fillet? Well, let me tell you, it's a practice that goes way deeper than just some simple dietary rule. The answer? Well, it gets right to the very heart of the Christian faith. This isn't just about what's on your plate for dinner. No, this is a profound spiritual practice tied directly to the suffering and death of Jesus Christ. To really get this, we've got to go back, way back. We need to look at the specific day of the week that started it all. You know, this practice is incredibly ancient. I'm talking 1st century here. Right from the get-go, Christians marked Friday as a special day for penance. Why? Because it was the day of the crucifixion. And you have to put yourself back in that time. In the ancient and medieval world, meat wasn't like it is today. It was a big deal. It was a luxury, something for feasts and celebrations. So to voluntarily give it up, wow, that was a really powerful physical way to express sorrow and stand in solidarity with the suffering Christ. So why the specific focus on flesh meat, from land animals? Well, there's some really deep symbolism at play. The church connects giving up the flesh of animals with kind of taming our own worldly passions. And even more importantly, Christ is called the Lamb of God who offered his flesh. So on the very day he made that ultimate sacrifice, the faithful refrain from consuming the flesh of other creatures. It's a sign of profound respect. But Friday isn't the whole story, not at all. There's another day of the week, a sort of forgotten fast day, that adds a whole other layer of meaning to this discipline. This creates this really powerful spiritual rhythm. You see, many devout Christians also fast on Wednesdays. Tradition says that Wednesday was the day Judas conspired to betray Jesus. So think about it. Wednesday marks the beginning of the Passion, and Friday marks its completion. Together they form these spiritual bookends during the week, constantly pulling your heart back toward the events of Calvary. Okay, so that's the history. But let's be real. How does an ancient practice like this fit into our crazy, busy, modern lives? What does it really mean for us today? Think of it like this. Our lives are so often on autopilot, right? Just go, go, go. This weekly fast acts as a spiritual speed bump. It literally interrupts our routine. It forces us to stop, to slow down, and to be intentional about our choices, our faith, and our connection to something bigger than the daily grind. So for us today, this practice carries at least 3 really powerful meanings. First, it's a sign of community, this quiet, shared act of unity with millions of other people. Second, it's about solidarity with the poor, a concrete reminder that for many people, not being able to afford meat isn't a choice. And third, it's all about interior penance, using a small external act to hopefully spark a much bigger internal change of heart.
This quote just nails it. It's all about transforming one kind of hunger into another. That physical feeling of, man, I could really go for a steak right now. Well, that's meant to become a trigger. It's supposed to become a reminder of a deeper, spiritual hunger for God's presence and mercy.
So we understand the why behind all this. But what about the how? What does this kind of sacrifice actually look like on the dinner table? First, a quick warning about a very modern problem, the lobster loophole. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's swapping a simple burger for a 5-star seafood feast. Sure, lobster thermidor is technically not meat, but it completely misses the point. The goal is sacrifice and simplicity, not finding a luxurious way around the rule. So what does a truly penitential meal look like? Well, the spirit of the fast really points toward humility. For Wednesday, the day of betrayal, that could mean super simple foods like plain oatmeal, a slice of toast, or a classic monastic dish like mujadara, which is just lentils and rice. It's literally been called the meat of the poor. And for Friday, the day of the cross, that theme of simplicity just continues. Meals are built around pantry staples, simple bread, a cup of broth, or maybe a basic pasta with stuff like olive oil, garlic, and canned fish. The whole idea is to be sustained by your food, not entertained by it. Now, for a little bit of fascinating history. You've probably eaten a pretzel, right? But have you ever wondered what in the world it has to do with Lent? Get this. It turns out pretzels were invented by monks specifically for Lent. That unique shape is no accident. It's meant to represent arms crossed over the chest in a position of prayer. How cool is that? Seriously, everything about the original pretzel was designed for Lent. They were made with just flour, water, and salts, which meant they avoided the fat,
eggs and milk that were also traditionally given up. It was the perfect penitential food, a snack that was in its very shape a prayer. Ultimately, when you look at all the history and theology, this tradition really asks us to look inward. It's clearly about so much more than an empty stomach. So the final question isn't just a historical one, it's for anyone observing this practice today. Is it truly about what you give up, or is it about the clarity, the solidarity, and the self-awareness you stand to gain?